How did I come to be? How the birds are fed and the ants survive every day. It's not by no magic, no handiwork of earthly man. Tell me, how can all this come to be? If there is no God, oh yeah. If there is no God, how did life come to be? All the changes in the season, all the changes in the time of day. It's not no magic, no handiwork of earthly man. Tell me, how can all this come to be if there is no God? How did I come to be? How the birds are fed and the ants survive every day. It's not by no magic, no handiwork of earthly man. Tell me, how can all this come to be if there is no God? Oh yeah. If there is no God, how did life come to be? All the changes in the season, all the changes in the time of day. It's not no magic, no handiwork of earthly man. Tell me, how can all this come to be if there is no God?
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. We want to welcome you to this very special edition here on GBC. This evening, we're going to be talking elections. You already see we're talking vote for Wynfred Russell. I have residents of Minneapolis, Brooklyn Park, and Osseo who's going to be talking to us. It's going to be a very important show. I want you to please, if you're watching, to please share this podcast because it's important that this seat here is won by Wynfred Russell. So welcome to all of you. My name is Glendy Jane Juniors. You know, if you know me, you know that is the most important thing I love to do. I love nothing the most but to call my name. And I tell you, every time when I call my name, because I'm a happily divorced woman, it reminds me of my dad. And I'm so excited that whenever I say Juniors, I think about my father. And the prelude to the show was to honor fathers. As we end the month of June, we want to remember fathers everywhere. We want to remember all of our dads, even for those of us who have lost our fathers. We still want to remember them, and fathers who are impacting their children's lives. We want to say, we hope you had a beautiful month of June. We hope that you were celebrated. We thank you for all that you do as a father. June was also Men's Health Month. We also hope that the men, you did all your different examinations Don't leave any out. We hope you went to the doctor. We hope you did your mean checks, the side checks, the middle checks, the back checks. We hope you did all of those things, but we're excited to be here this evening. But before we bring our guests on, like I said, we'll be talking to residents of Brooklyn Park, people from Minnesota. We'll be talking about why it is important that Wynfred Russell wins this seat this year, this time. Why is it that we want representation at the table? Why is it that we want to be able to have someone with experience and just a whole lot? Come up with all of these things. It is important. I cannot negate from highlighting the fact that Wynfred Russell does come from Liberia, and that Minnesota, Brooklyn Park is the center of Liberians. That is where Liberians. Let me tell you something before we really go into the show. So I don't live in Minnesota, but I support Liberians everywhere. There's nothing I love doing the most than to be a Liberian and to be able to support Liberians. My church is in Minnesota, Ebenezer Community Church, under the leadership of Dr. Francis O.S. Topla and Mrs. and Pastor Christine Topla. That's my church. I go there maybe every 3 months or every 4 months. That's my church. That is what I believe in that church. And so I am a part of Minnesota. My son is also in school in Minnesota. So I know Brooklyn Park. The Liberian people in Minnesota, they have their own weekend. And if you have that, if you've been given that privilege in Minnesota to be able to have your own weekend, to be able to say when you're planning activities, you're asking, which weekend is this? Is this the Liberian weekend, or is this other weekend? It says that you already have a voice. You already have voices in that area, and you need to be able. This seat, this time, we want to make sure that we do all we can so that you don't have to live in Minnesota. Why am I explaining all of this? You don't have to live in Minnesota or in Brooklyn Park or in Osseo to be able to encourage. We all have families that live in different areas. We have people that live in different areas. So we want to be able to come out tonight and start the campaign, start talking. And let me just say to you, you don't have to know Wynfred to want to vote for him. You don't have to know Wynfred to want to talk for him. What you want to know is if you want a seat at the table and you want to have some form of representation at the table, it is important that you support this drive so that Wynfred Russell becomes the next representative, House of Representative in District 38A. I hope I said it right. All righty. But I wanted to first today, before we start the show, I wanted to acknowledge our Liberian athletes. The last week ends today. The games ended today. The African Athletic Championship in Cameroon took place this past week. Our Liberian track and field athletes were present. They represented Liberia, and they represented us very, very well. So I first want to acknowledge that they went there, and the important thing about these people, and I want you to be able to connect it to Wynfred's story, the fact that you don't know Wynfred. Some of you may not know him. Some of these young adults who ran for Liberia, they've never been there. My son, who is a track star, has never been to Liberia, but he has chosen to run for Liberia because it's his mother's country, or his parents are from Liberia. So that's why it's important is that people see the need and they want to be able to give Liberia a shine, or have Liberia represented or seated at the table. And so they go and make the sacrifice. So to our athletes, I want to first and foremost acknowledge one of the coaches, Coach Seyon Cooper. Coach Seyon Cooper himself is a former athlete, former Olympian for Liberia. And we want to say thank you to Coach Seyon. The other coach is Coach Kute Mawe. These men, I know for a fact, have sacrificed a lot to put the team together, to go out looking for players, to initiate with them, to connect with them, to connect with their families. So to Coach Sayon Cooper, I want to say thank you. I want to congratulate you, my brother. You've done well. You know me. I like to make sure you all get the credit that you need because you've done extremely well. So Coach Sayon and Coach Kute, I want to say thank you. Let me also recognize some of our athletes. These are Liberian athletes. And it's been a long time that you've heard Liberia win anything. We want to first recognize Maya. She won the silver medal in the women's 100. She is from Liberia. So she right now, if you want to, literally, she's the third in Africa. If you're looking at 100 meters, and Maya is from Liberia. Maya McCord is representing Liberia, and she is the third in Africa for the 100 meters. Then I want to also recognize the team of women, the relay team, the Liberian relay team that won a bronze medal. And I want to be extremely proud. These are courageous young women who have decided to run for our country, and we're excited about them, and we're excited about the bronze medal. Now let me go to Ebony Morrison. I'm telling you, Liberia, we outdid ourselves. We outdid ourselves. Please share the show if you're watching. Ebony Morrison, she won the women's 100-meter hurdle. She is number one in Africa, not West Africa, not East Africa, not North, not South, but in Africa, and she's from Liberia. Ebony Morrison, congratulations. Want to say thank you. This is what and Minnesota people can share in this one. You can share in this win, because this one, this athlete, this champion, this double champion is from Minneapolis. Joseph Famule. Yes! Joseph Famule is number one in 100 meter in Africa. Number one. And he is from Liberia. He's not only number one, but he's for the 100 meter. He's also number one for the 200 meters. The young man won gold medals. 2 gold medals at this competition for Joseph Famule. We're excited about that. We want to thank all of our athletes. We want to also remember and honor Emmanuel Matadi, who is also from Minneapolis, went to school at Mankato. But Matadi has now become an advisor for these young men. He's like a bigger brother. They look up to him for so many things. And I like to refer to Matadi as someone who is selfless. And so this win is equally for Liberia as it is for Minneapolis. You hear me? Eh? And what I said today, when anybody asks you if you are a Liberian, and anybody asks you, where are you from? You have to be able to introduce yourself with some sassiness. And then when they ask you for a hello, where are you from? You should act first like you don't know what they said. You said, excuse me? Excuse me? Do you have a question? And then when they ask you again, where are you from? You say, oh, my name is Glendy Jane Jonas. I am from the country, Liberia, that now has the fastest athlete. That's how you should introduce yourself. That is how you must introduce. You must introduce yourself like that. My name is Glendy Jane Jonas, and I am from the country in Africa, the continent of Africa, Liberia, the country where the fastest athlete is from. You got to be bold. You got to be proud. This is amazing. We got to be able to celebrate our children, but so much about them. I couldn't come on without giving them kudos. Let's start the show. I'm going to bring on our different guests. I see we have a very important, the last becomes first. Mathematician is here in the house. Hello.
How are you doing today?
All right, the mathematician is here, and that small man up on the stage. Let me know math for your tita with him. We have Linda. Linda Freeman is here. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And then we have Magdalene is here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And then we have Molly Kamara. Where's Molly?
I'm right here. Thank you.
Everybody is here. Want to thank you all for showing up. This is equally important to you as it is to me. We're all here this evening. If Wynfred Russell didn't mean anything to us, none of us would be here. And if the seat was not important, we wouldn't be here. So I want to say welcome and thank you for taking off your time. I'm going to start. We're going to just go first straight into it. Will be want each of you to tell us a little bit about who you are. Why are you here? And then we can go from there. So we'll talk to Linda first, and then we'll go from Linda, we'll go to Magdalene, then we'll go to Molly, and we'll go to the mathematician. He's going to I'm going to add 1 + 1 is equals to 3. Go ahead, Linda.
Okay, thank you again for having me. Again, my name is Linda Freeman, and the reason I'm here tonight is because Wynfred asked me to come here. I lived in Brooklyn Park for 16 years and served on the Brooklyn Park Human Rights Commission. And I was trying to think when I was preparing for this, how did I initially meet Wynfred Russell? And I've known him for so many years, I can't even remember the first time I met him. So we've crossed paths so many times in the volunteer work and all the things we've both done in the community. And that's one of the reasons I'm supporting him. And I think it's important that he gets elected to this seat because he has been working hard for the community already for the past 15 years in so many different capacities.
Thank you. Magdalene?
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. My name is Madeline Benyonka. I used to live in Maple Grove. Now I am in Brooklyn Park. Wynfred Russell is the one I'm supporting. That's why I am here. And I want to make sure that Mr. Russell win this seat. That is very important. I'm a mother of 2, and I love to advocate. Advocacy is I love to do that. It's very healthy and it's good for me and for our community. So we are here today to talk about Russell representing us as Brooklyn Park members.
All right. Thank you, Magdalene. Molly?
Hi, my name is Molly Kamara. Have been in Minnesota, the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center area for the last 20 years, 20 to 25 years. I'm here today to make a case for why we need Russell on this at this position. I have known Russell maybe 5-6 years, but in the last 2-3 years, I've actually worked closely with him because I own one of the largest grocery stores in Minnesota, the Waterside Market. And we have a huge number of people in Brooklyn Park, but we have no representation. We do not have a librarian on the Brooklyn Park Senate City Council. We have no representation. And Russell has been the only one that have continuously come out to say he wants to represent us. And he has all the qualifications. So I figured out, well, you know what? This is our community. This man has met every criteria that we have set up for him. And he always wants to represent us. It is time that we should come out and support him. And
Thank
today,
you.
that's why I'm here to make a case why Russell.
Thank you. Let me, before I go to Sissy, Molly, not Molly, Linda, if you want to be, can you turn your camera into landscape so that you don't have the black things on the side?
Oh.
Yes, perfect.
That
Perfect. Yes, that's better. All right. All right. Take it away, Sissy. Sissy.
Well, either way, the message carries through. Wow. First of all, it's nice to see these strong people. My sister Linda,
I forgot I was doing something else. I was writing Tabata on Facebook, and then Linda went, "Are you coming on?" And I said, "Holy crap, I gotta run." And thank you, my sister. I am happy to hear that you're back in Brooklyn Park, Miss Mayanga. We go way back, and of course, my brother, the entrepreneur. Well, my name is Sisi Goya. I am a long time math teacher at Brooklyn Center High School. I started my work in Osseo, teaching at Maple Grove Junior High School. Now I'm in Minneapolis doing something else, stay in education. But I'm here, and I left my kid in the backyard. I was playing with my daughter in the backyard, and I put that on pause because this is very important. I am here because of my 3-year-old that I'm playing in the backyard with. I'm here because we need people to be at the table, not simply because of the color of their skin. I'm actually not supporting Wynfred because he's from Liberia. I'm supporting Wynfred because of the body of work that he's done. I'm supporting Wynfred Russell as an educator because I believe that Osseo School District that sits in House 38A, which is very diverse, has a lot of BIPOC students, deserves more, deserves their fair share. If the American dream is truly going to be a dream for all of our kids, regardless of their zip codes and regardless of the color of their skin, and regardless of their parents' income, House 38A in Minnesota has the opportunity to set that. And there's nobody more uniquely qualified that brings the learned experience and the lived experience to the table than Wynfred Russell. So I'm here, I'm being partial because I'm an educator. And I've always been working to see who out there is going to help me in the classroom. There are things teachers can solve in the classroom. When the kids leave the school at 3:30, who takes care of them? Wynfred Russell has to be in that seat to build that bridge and provide the support for our scholars. And so I'm here as a teacher supporting Wynfred Russell because I wholeheartedly believe that with Wynfred in that seat, I can trust that he will make decisions that will be good for my 3-year-old. And that is why I left my 3-year-old in the backyard to be here to have this show. So I support Wynfred Russell 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you've answered our first question. Why was it necessary for you to be here? I think everyone have said a little bit. Let me just chime in. Now that I know the owner of the Waterside Market, when I come to Minnesota, I'm coming there. Now that I've met Mr. Mother Kamara, I'm gonna come there. But let me start with Linda. And we'll ask one question to each of you. And if you want to chime in on that question, you can certainly feel free to do that. What are some of the key issues that matters the most to you for these elections that you think Wynfred Russell will be able to meet?
For me, I think one of the most important things about his candidacy is that he knows the district, he knows the people, he's lived and served in the district for more than 15 years. And so I could, like, if you go to his website, wynfredrussell.org, you will see a list. Like, if I read everything, you'd run out of time of all the things he's done. As a city council member, as a member, founder of ACER, a nonprofit that's done a lot of good work in the community. He's the former chair of the Northwest Minneapolis Tourism Board. He's coordinated efforts to get funding to mitigate the impact of COVID. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And so when you're voting for somebody who represents you, you want somebody who has established relationships with people in the community, with other elected officials in the community. He was a supporter of Senator Susan Pah, and still is. And they will work well together. They were on the city council together. And so it's really important to have somebody who authentically, passionately serves the community. And that's what's really important to me. And his opponent doesn't have that experience. She's been moving from city to city to try to get elected somewhere, but she doesn't have established relationships in this district. She just bought a house like 6 months ago in this district. So she may have a good resume in other areas, but she does not have an established track record of relationships or accomplishments in this district. And Wynfred has all of that.
Okay, so let me go to everybody. I think it's an important question for everyone to chime in on. If you can just respond to it in a minute, that would be appreciated. What do you think? What do you think are some of the key important issues in this election that you think Wynfred will be able to meet?
Well,
So-
I can comment.
Yes, go ahead, Molly.
Well, he's going to be elected as a state representative. You cannot lead people that you don't know. Wynfred knows the community. He's part of us. Representing us at a higher level. There's a significant number of us that have cultural differences. I have had to work with the city of Brooklyn Park on so many levels. I'm not saying that they don't know what they are doing. They know what they are doing, but sometimes the city leaders need to be educated on our culture. They are lacking the understanding of the Liberian culture. We are a vital part of the Brooklyn Park community. And yet still, our city people do not know us. They don't know our culture. We have to educate them. I have on several occasions offered information to people in the city that they are shocked of. How do you represent me when you don't know me? It is not their fault. I'm not saying everybody at the city council should be from Liberia. But if he has represented over 10,000 Liberians, of course you need to know Liberian culture. And who is qualified to do that more than Russell? He was born in Liberia. He came to America. He built himself. Academically, professionally, he has done everything that a Liberian should be proud of. I always tell Russell, I am proud to call you a brother. I am proud that you are there to represent us. I'm proud you put yourself out there so that people can say everything about you just to represent me. Because you know what? The next Liberian kid that has that endeavor will take the courage just because you led the way. He is my Obama. He is the man I'm voting for because he understands me. He understands the community he wants to lead. You cannot represent me when you don't know me. The other person that is coming out to represent me doesn't know me, doesn't understand my culture, but yet and still won the title. So Russell is my man.
Thank you. Sis Magdalene?
Yeah, so Linda and Molly has said almost, everything, but Russell have lived in a community for 20 plus years, okay? The Liberian community need to know that when we were fighting for DED in Minnesota, Russell was number one man in the front as we flew to DC every other night to be there to advocate between senator and representative. Wynfred Russell was there with us. Because of Russell and the rest of the other people, I am a citizen today. I have lived in the United States for 20 plus years, and it was not easy to get my papers. So Russell had to work with all our senators in Minnesota and other Minnesota, going to DC. We fly midnight, early in the morning to advocate. And every time we went, he was standing right there. The Liberian community in Brooklyn Park need to know that Wynfred Russell is the man for this job. We need him, and that's why I am here to support him.
All right, sister. Sister, you want to add?
Yeah. Let me just add to what my sister, Miss Mayanga, said about the DED issue. And I just want people to understand that Wynfred was in the thick of that, even though he has documents. So you need to understand that. He wasn't advocating because he needed his own document. He was advocating because he saw a need in other people. And he felt that he could use his voice and his time and his talent to help other people who were in need. And so I really just wanted to say something here, that Wynfred Russell envisions in Minnesota where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background. Because I worked with Wynfred for a long time. He's worked on developing policy to promote economic growth. When you talk about the incubation building that they bought in Brooklyn Center for the first time to allow small businesses to sit in there and incubate and try to and fast track the CARES Act money to folks to help them with rental assistance. So whether we're talking housing or we are talking impact on the economy or we are talking everything else with advocating for people, Wynfred Russell is the best candidate that we can ever wish for to get in this race.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I kind of, everybody is like on the same line with the knowledge he has, the fact that he knows the people, but it's also equally important. And I want people to understand who's watching us. Like it's not about the fact that he's a Liberian. We don't want to look at the fact that he's a Liberian. So we say we want a Liberian. We know we want someone who has identified with the people, someone who has been there for them, someone who knows the plight of the people. And it's not on only a Liberian side. I think it's you can just look at the platform and see that his outreach has been balanced in the community. And I think it's important, if you're watching, to please join the Wynfred Russell team to be able to elect Wynfred. The voting starts on June 28th. In Minneapolis. If you live in Brooklyn Park Osseo, it's in District 38. This is why we're here, because it's important for us to have someone in that seat who is experienced and who knows the plight of the people and who will be able to advocate for the needs of the people in the community. The next question I want to ask, and I'll start with, how do you feel that Wynfred will be able to address some of the issues that you have now in the area?
Well, he won't serve on the city council. Like we have been saying, he has worked on different capacities. Wynfred is well aware of the community issues, simply because he served on the city council. He has been involved with several organizations like ASOS and other things. He relates to the common man. Wynfred comes around and talks to people. So that connection that he has with the people, he knows the people's problem. And that's the problem that he's going to take to the house to solve.
All right. Magdalene, I want you to add on to this.
And so, like he just said, Wynfred was on the city council. Wynfred also during the COVID, the different community had food coming to the different community. Wynfred had to make sure that the African community, not just the Liberian community, but the immigrant community that were in Brooklyn Park, they eat certain kind of food. So they were not used to, the little other stuff that were coming. But Wynfred made sure that he stay on the council and make the people to understand that if you're going to carry food to the community, make sure my people have their traditional food so it can be part of that and they will have it. And Wynfred know the community so well. When we even go door knocking in the evening and then we have the opportunity to meet a resident, the moment we say Wynfred, they say we know him. We want him to be in a position long time. This is the kind of attitude we get from a Brooklyn Park resident when we go door knocking. So Wynfred is the man. This is the time that Liberian and not just Liberian, but immigrants in Brooklyn Park stand up to support Wynfred for our own representation.
Okay. So Linda, I want to ask you, and you being in the area, Minneapolis, you've known Wynfred for a while. This is not his first run. What would you have to say with people who may think that he shouldn't be running because he's wrong? He was he was a member of the city council before. He ran the second time, didn't win, and he's running again. What do you have to say to voters who must say that that's not the only thing for him to do? Why does he want to do it? And then while you're at the question, also share what the act that he's performing with the fact that his laws, the last laws, did not discourage him. How can you describe it? The man, Wynfred Russell, continuously wanting to be able to serve his people?
Well, that's really easy. So when he ran for city council, his last race, he did win. And his last race, he was actually running for mayor of Brooklyn Park.
Yeah.
And the city of Mayor or the city of Brooklyn Park is very large, and he didn't make that final decision to run until a little bit later. And it was because, to my understanding, the community was asking him to run. But by the time he got in the race, there was another person who also was running, and they had endorsement by a political party, the Democrats. So that person had all the resources and free publicity of the Democratic Party. So it wasn't a matter of that other person was more qualified. It was just circumstances that happened that weren't necessarily in Wynfred's control, and it doesn't take away at all his qualifications to serve for the state representative. Now, the district that he's running in, my understanding, because it's only as part of Brooklyn Park and then the city of Osseo. So it's not even the whole entire city, but it's a part of Brooklyn Park that he already served when he was a city council member. So it's a key part of the city that he has so many established relationships. And it's almost like it happened in a way that was meant to be, because I feel like he is way better to run for the state representative seat, because then he can take his skills to the state level. And once he gets to the state, that doesn't just help Brooklyn Park. That doesn't just help people in the Liberian community. That's going to help everybody in the state of Minnesota, because it'll help us keep the majority of the Democrats. So that's what I would say to the argument. Like, why is he running again? I think he's running because he's the most qualified person for this seat, and he got in early this time. So he's been doing everything he needs to do. And I already forgot your second question.
So I know you are. I think you answered both of them.
I answered it all. Okay.
Yeah, you answered it. So I wanted to come to Sister to ask him. So I live in Minnesota. I live in Brooklyn Park, just hypothetically, and I haven't voted before for anyone. And you come and you ask me, would I vote for Wynfred Russell? What would you tell me?
Well, I would tell you yes. I say you should vote for Wynfred, and here is why. And so my sister always brings us stuff that reminds me, Magdalene, because we live in the same community. I serve on OLM board as a board member. Right now, I'm vice chair. But during the coronavirus, the COVID, when we transitioned and sent kids home and said we're learning from home, we quickly realized that, oh my God, folks in other places had the resources to support their kids. But as you got deeper and deeper into immigrant and BIPOC communities, we found out that the resources was not there. Not that the knowledge was not there, but the resources were not there. We started to find apartment complexes that didn't have appropriate infrastructure to have internet access. We found out really quickly that in some apartment complexes that hosted a lot of Liberians and Black people and BIPOC people, if you move into apartment 3A and the person before you in apartment 3A owned the cable company blacklisted apartment 3A. So you couldn't even get internet for your kids, even though your name was not, you weren't me. And so Wynfred, not being a teacher, and city council does not deal with education, crossed the line, came to me. We all form a coalition on how we get internet hotspots free of charge to these homes so that their kids, again, Wynfred could handle that in his own house, but he saw a need outside. And when you talk about the issue of culturally sensitive and appropriate food at the food shelves and the food shelters, there is one right on Brooklyn Boulevard at the Methodist church. Now, Wynfred makes sure every time they get funding from the city when he's out on their council, because they provide food to not just Liberians, but to to West Africans that are culturally. Have you ever been to a food shop before to find where they're selling you palm butter in the can? They're giving it to you for free. They're giving you cassava leaf for free. That is all because Russell understands the community. He's lived in the community for a long time. So to answer your question, I would tell you, as a resident of Brooklyn Park, what's important to you? Is it housing? Because we first worked on that. It's a law enforcement. It's a law enforcement and reform of the criminal justice system. Wynfred has worked on that. It's making sure that when you call 911 and your house is on fire, that the fire department is there faster. Where he worked to transition Brooklyn Park Police Department from being a volunteer police department to a full-time police department.
Amazing.
So I will ask you, what is important to you? Chances are, if you name 9 things that are important to you, Wynfred Russell has done 9+ things beyond that that has served you. So I would ask people in 38A, regardless of your skin color, if you're Liberian, I think you should look at what he's done beyond Minnesota. Sitting on the city council, advocating to carry play materials from our playgrounds that the city would have automatically just gotten rid of. Wynfred made sure that those materials were taken to Liberia to establish playgrounds for kids in Liberia. Are you talking about partnership? Wynfred has been instrumental in the Kakata city-sister relationship with the city of Brooklyn Park. Are you talking Brooklyn Park? Wynfred managed to ensure that there was funding ready for small business owners to have an incubation place. So I will ask you, you tell me what's important to you. And I can tell you 5,000 stories on how Wynfred has worked around to make sure that he solved those problems, or there are people in charge that were solving those problems.
Yeah. And as I'm listening to Sese, and I'm so convinced, because of course, if you know Sese Goa, this is a man of integrity. Highest integrity. He's my brother. I love him, and I know that what he's saying, those are true attributes of Wynfred. He wouldn't just say if it wasn't true. So if you live in District 38, voting starts on the 28th of June. It is important that you join the Wynfred Russell camp. I've pinned his web page address on there, www.winfred.com. So please, .org, sorry, www.winfred.org. Please go there. If you have if you want any information, see me, talk to me. I may not reside in Minnesota, but I reside in Brooklyn Park. I'm interested in what's happening in the community. I want to go to Molly. You tell me. I know you all have said, and this is actually the best resume ever. When you have people that you've lived with, people that you've worked with, you don't need to read a paper resume. People can just look in their mind, and these are questions that you probably didn't know or knew that I would ask, and you're answering it just like that. That's a testament to the man Wynfred Russell and to why he is the most experienced for this position, because he not only lives in the community, he knows the community, he knows the needs, and he will make a difference in the community. I want Molly to tell me, what is one thing that's wrong with Brooklyn Park that you want to see fixed and that you hope that Wynfred will do? What is a concern to you about something? It could be anything. It could be health. It could be safety. Anything in your community that you think Wynfred will be able to help fix?
I think, looking at the broader community, I can't come up with one thing that Wynfred would be able, like, he needs to fix. But I truly believe that he is approachable, So if there is ever an issue, he's the best person that you can approach. He's a very approachable guy. He carries himself very to the level of the people he's serving. So if there is ever an issue in Brooklyn Park and you need a representation, you need someone to speak out for you, I feel like Russell is the man for that.
All right. Anybody, Linda or Magdalene, you wanted to add?
Yeah.
Magdalene, we gotta connect. I like how you talk.
just sitting here and thinking about the Liberian community, right? So let me just take a step back. I'm a mother of two, and I'm a single mother. I raised my daughter by myself. And Sisi Goya, I like the Liberian or Liberian men that are family oriented, that make sure they take care of business. So Sisi did something one time in the community. Because you call him a mathematician, but he organized classes at the Liberian organization office in Brooklyn Park, that if you have your children struggling in math, bring them so we can help them. And I remember my daughter was in probably 9th or 10th grade, and she was struggling. And so I took her there, and Sisi put her on the path. Now my daughter is in college, you know. So just looking at the Liberian men that are, family people, even if you're single, but you still have that mind of giving back to the community, it's important. So Wynfred take that role also to make sure he gave to the Liberian community. Like I said, when it comes to DD, I will stand anywhere, like I was head to head or neck to neck with my senator, running everywhere on every news channel and trying to push this. But Wynfred was right there with us. So in the community, if you're watching this show today, says Glennie, she loves to say, I don't know, JJ or something. This show, if you're watching this show, sit back and think and know that you can, if you don't live in Brooklyn Park and you live in Minneapolis, whatever, tell your friends that live in Brooklyn Park, the person to vote for is Wynfred Russell. Make it known. If you had a qualms or anything with Wynfred, it's not time for that. We need, as an immigrant community, the Sierra Leone, the Guinean, the people from Ivory Coast, whatever, Liberian, we all need to stand together, because we have this thing in a community called Liberian Weekend Off. Every African, every immigrant that work in a nursing field or any other field, if you fall under that Liberian weekend, you enjoy that weekend. So you cannot go to a job interview in Brooklyn Park and they don't ask you, do you want a Liberian weekend off? This is our opportunity to seize this movement and put Wynfred Russell in the seat to represent us.
Linda, anything?
I'd also like to mention that there's another way to support Wynfred. If you can't vote for him and you live outside the district, or even if you do live inside the district, it takes money to run a campaign.
Yes.
And Wynfred could use everybody's help. And so I'd really like to encourage people. And can I share his number? So if you have Cash App or Zelle, I think there's another one. I totally forgot which one it is. But please go to his number is 612-283-1859. And if you could put that on the chat or something so people can see it, 612-283-1859. Even if you can only donate $5, if people could just give a little bit, because running a campaign is expensive and you need money for literature, for events, for lawn signs, for advertising. So, I mean, it's amazing how much it costs. That's the drawback of running for office. Our system makes people pay their, beg for donations in order to run. Our government doesn't pay for the campaign. So people who don't live in the district donate money to help Wynfred win.
Yes. So I want to, this last question I want to ask, and I want everybody to be able to respond to it. What separates Wynfred apart from his opponent?
Oh, that is so easy. Who wants to go?
I'm gonna start with Molly.
Yes. Okay.
He's the most qualified. he relate to the community. Like Linda said, his opponent just moved to the city, moved to the community like 6 months ago, simply for political reason, want to win a seat. Wynfred has lived in the community for over 25 years. So he knows the community, he can relate to the community, and that's the reason why we should vote for him.
Thank you. Magdalene?
So when I say Brooklyn Park, actually, I just want to go back for a minute. When I say Brooklyn Park, I'm talking about American, African American, the white American, the immigrant community, everybody coming out to support Wynfred. I just wanted to get that clear. And Wynfred stand out in between he and his opponent. Wynfred stand out in so many ways. I don't know her very well, and I don't like to speak about who is in the race. I like to speak about my candidate because I know my candidate. I know what they're able to do. I know what they're capable of doing. I've worked with him before. He lived in a community for 20 plus years. He know the resident of Brooklyn Park. Like I said before, when we go door knocking, the moment we give the flyer to the resident, the American, the first thing they say, "Oh, Russell, yes, we know him. We voted for him the last time. Oh my God, we can't wait." And sometimes Russell is on the field with us when we door knocking. So Russell stand a better chance in the community, and he'll make a difference because he know the community and he know the job.
Thank you. Linda, did you answer that?
Well, the other thing I would add is Wynfred Russell is authentic. He is not running because he wants a title. It isn't because he has all this higher ambition. Not that there's anything wrong with higher ambition, but he's running because he's passionate about serving the community he's known for the last 15 to 20 years. It's not because he wants to be more important or have a title. He's not moving from city to city to city trying to chase some kind of election. He is running because he's the best qualified person to represent the people he's already been serving for the last 15 to 20 years. So there's no contest. It's like it's just crystal clear to me. Anybody who knows him knows that he's the most qualified and most authentic, passionate, has integrity, everything you want.
All righty. Cecile?
Well, let me follow Ms. Mayonga. By the way, thank you. You always say that every time, and I always say you got to stop saying that. I hope our queen is doing well, and I hope she's succeeding. But you asked a question earlier about why Wynfred keeps running. And Linda answered that question. And then Linda's plug-in about donation brought something to the forefront. An advocate who gets tired is not an advocate. Anybody who stops advocating is not an advocate. So the reason I come out here is because I see their raw passion. You know, there are some people when they arrive, they're good. Wynfred is good. There are people in our community who didn't come out in the court to stand with our brothers and sisters that were on DED. They had their documents. I talked to you about COVID and access to internet. Wynfred got access to internet for a household. He didn't have to come out to do that. To advocate for having culturally appropriate food in food shelves, Wynfred buy his own food. He didn't have to do that. And so when you ask the question why he keeps running, Wynfred got redistricted out of his House seat. He could have done like what most politicians can do, rent an apartment in that place and stay with his seat. He said no, he wasn't going to be chasing that. As a matter of fact, he went out to recruit somebody else and said, come and run for this seat because you live in the district and you will be appropriate for it. Now, you think about a politician who has a straight shot at winning the seat and saying that, no, I'm not going to just change my home because I want to move in that place to win that seat. I'm going to instead look in there and see who else is still there, bring them up, mentor them, support them, and ask them to run. And elections are not cheap. Take it from me. I've run twice and lost both times. Elections are not cheap.
That's
People
okay.
take shots at you. People become negative to you. People go after your family. Nobody wants to keep raising their hand over and over for folks to be negative to you. Negative to
Mhm.
you. You use your own money. You are outdoors begging every day. Nobody wants to do that over and over. So somebody who's doing that over and over and over and over again, for me, speaks to their character of how they understand the plight of the people, regardless of whether they're immigrants or not, regardless of whether they're black or not, regardless of whether they're poor whites or not, regardless of whether they're wealthy whites and wealthy immigrants or not. Wynfred Russell understands that, and he understands what it means to bring people together. So when you ask that question about what makes him stand tall, I said, man, you got all day, because I can name a lot of things that makes him a guy.
So we're almost at the we're at the end now. Where it's almost 9 o'clock here for me and 8 o'clock for you all. I want to say thank you to all of you, and to those of you who's watching. Want to say thank you for watching, but we also want to say, if you have relatives, if you have friends, if you know people who live in Brooklyn Park, in the Osseo district, in District 38A, please talk to them, encourage them. Even if you don't live there, if you can support Wynfred Russell, we've pinned the number on here. We want to be able to win this seat. We want to win it because the candidate Wynfred Russell knows the community, knows the people, knows the needs. He is identified with them, and he is the most experienced. And so that's why it's important for us to work together to be able to elect Wynfred Russell. Voting starts on the 28th. Want to encourage all of you, please call your loved one, call your friends, call your families. As we close and end the show, I want to go to Linda to give us some closing comments. Talk to the voters, talk to people who don't know, who may not know Wynfred but lives in the area. Talk to them, and talk to those who have already registered to vote, so that they don't change their mind. They stay on course, they stay on track, and they vote for Wynfred. So we'll
So,
start with you, and then we'll go to Magdalene, Molly, and then Sissy will close us.
okay, I'll just be really quick. And for voting early, one of the good reasons to vote early is you get it out of the way. You don't have to worry about maybe you're sick on election day or your boss won't let you get that day off or whatever. Get it over with. Get it out of the way. You vote early and you don't have to wait in line. And Wynfred Russell is the most qualified, and he can't win without your vote.
Thank you. Magdalene?
Right before I close, I also want to say Wynfred Russell also worked with the Ebola team. Remember, Wynfred Russell, I mean, this guy, he go a long way, okay? Wynfred made sure that Liberian nurses left from Minnesota and made it to Liberia to work with Ebola. Wynfred he know a lot. Okay, and just to close, don't forget, okay, because a lot of us, we work weekend, and if you can vote, go and do your early voting, then you don't have to worry about you not voting on time and you didn't vote for your candidate that you love. Please make time. Brooklyn Park community, the community of Brooklyn Park, make enough time to vote and vote for Wynfred Russell for state representative. Thank you to Glanny and to the audience that watching. Thank you for having us. Thank you, CC, for your true advocacy. Thank you, Mali, what is up, Marke? You are here. I can't believe I always come there to get food. I see you here advocating. That's great. I wish the other business people will follow along, because when we have representation, that will help the business in the community also. Thank you.
Thank you. Molly?
Yeah, I just want to enforce what Linda said. Like, early voting is very crucial. Starting this Friday, the 28th, the early voting will start both in Brooklyn Park and Osseo City Hall. And I'm really encouraging the community, people that live in Brooklyn Park, to get it out of the way, because you never know what's going to happen when it's time So starting tomorrow, whenever you are Friday, whenever you have a time, please make it to the City Hall, both in Brooklyn Park and Osseo, and cast your vote and cast it for Wynfred Russell. He's the man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sissy.
So only Wynfred can bring me back in the group with and bring me full circle with Linda and my sister Magdalene. But it's been a pleasure being on here. I would do this for hours and hours and hours because I know what is at stake. And my brother Mali, I always see you. Look, August 13th is general election. Nobody here knows what's going to happen on August 13th. It could be raining cats and dogs. The lines might be very long. We might have, this is Minnesota, we could have tornado warnings and we could have 500 things. And you don't want to place your bet on that one day. I'm a statistician. I'm telling you, don't place your bet on that one day. Get out beginning Friday. Go vote early. The day the sun is up, it's okay for you. You vote in the sun, go vote that day. The day is raining, you like a little bit of rain, go vote that day. Don't wait for August 13th because you don't know what might happen. You might have an emergency. You might have a bus that says we have way too many people calling in. You can't call in today or you can't leave today. Go vote early. You have control of the time right now. Go vote early. Just to close out and why you should vote for Wynfred Russell. And please donate. Go to Wynfred, WYNFRED.org. That's WYNFRED.org. That's Wynfred.org. You can give money there. If you didn't get a Cash App information, campaigns are very expensive, my people. And we can pray all we want to pray. But faith without work is dead. Let's pray. Let's get out to vote. Let's donate. Osseo, which is a part of 38A, and Brooklyn Park, which is a part of 38A. They both belong to one school district, Osseo School District. I'm here looking at the data. When you look at how our kids are performing, it's dismal. If you look at the schools in Osseo School District that are in 38A, and you compare them to the ones that are outside of 38A, but still in Osseo School District, the kids in 38A are performing dismally. This summer, I decided to start what my sister talked about, to start a summer boot camp of math. We need somebody at the state level that will fund such things. We cannot tell our kids to pull themselves by their bootstraps if they are barefooted. We need somebody at the state capitol that will give our kids the boots, and then we will teach them how to tie those straps. I'm telling you, my people, the American dream rose on education. And if we want our kids to have that dream and not the nightmare, we have a chance. We have an opportunity. We have somebody who doesn't just have the learned classroom experience, have the lived experience. And we keep talking about Liberia, but Wynfred even went as far as to Nigeria to help there. So we're talking somebody who is so selfless that he doesn't see boundary and he doesn't see class as a limitation on how to reach across. Reach out, don't knock for Wynfred, donate to Wynfred, spread the word, but most importantly, get out and vote for Wynfred Russell, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance and an opportunity to get a qualified, a competent, people-centered person in a seat. Vote Wynfred Russell. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for coming. Wish you all the very best. We'll continue to share. We'll continue to support. And Wynfred knows whenever there is a need for anyone to come on, I don't care how tired I am, I will make the time to come on. So I want to say thank you to all of you. I will be connecting with all our sisters who already have a connection, but Linda and Magdalene, this will not be the last time we talk. And what is that, Market? What is that, man? What is that, Market, man? Coming from my Pepe and my...
We got you.
All righty. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too.
So thank you, everybody, for watching. This show was about supporting Wynfred Russell. You'll have a pleasant evening. District 38, Brooklyn Park community. Wynfred Russell is running for the House of Representatives. Want to encourage you to encourage your people, but also support Wynfred Russell. Go to his website. It's www.wynfred.org. Thank you for watching. Let's support him. Let's win this seat. Together we can make a difference, and we can give the people the representation that they need in Brooklyn Park. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.